Greetings people, how's it going? Some random guy here. Today, I'm gonna show you a project that I found recently called Maya Protocol, everything they work with at the moment, the mission, the vision, everything around that. And first of all, it is a fork of the Tor chain. When it comes to the main chains, we know ETH, we know Bitcoin, we know the Binance Smart Chain, but then we can also look at all the alternative chains, one of them being the Tor chain. Market cap of over 600 million at the moment, and the Maya Protocol, the decentralized liquidity protocol, restrictionless and open source, is a friendly fork of the Tor chain. They have an upcoming fair launch in about 20 something days from now, depending on when you watch this. They have a countdown for that on their side over here on March 7th. And I thought, because I like the idea, and some of you have mentioned liquidity notes before and everything that has to do with that, I would give you like a short overview of the project so you can see if this might be something that you're interested in. This is not financial advice. I feel like that's obvious, but I still have to say it. This is more like a look at what I found. Maybe you like it too. Alrighty, starting with the main page so you get like a basic understanding. You can swap crypto across blockchains. When I want to swap crypto, let's say I have money on ETH and I have money on the Binance Smart Chain. If I want to send that over, I either use an exchange in the middle, let's say Kraken or Binance, or what you can also do is use other sites and providers that do exactly that for you. And with Maya, you will now have a decentralized liquidity protocol that enables non-custodial and efficient native swaps across blockchains. Complicated words, but it means you can swap things despite different blockchains. For that, they're gonna have two tokens. The main token is called Maya, the other token is called Cacao. The Cacao fair drop is gonna come soon, and that will power the ecosystem behind it with a max supply of 100 million. Anybody that provides liquidity in a 21-day time frame will receive Cacao. The way it works is that for the amount of money that you deposit, let's say $1,000 in ETH, you will receive $1,000 in the Cacao token for the liquidity that you provide. They also talk about their approach, that they're gonna be the second to the market, why they think Thor cannot and should not be the only cross-chain DEX, as well as all the reasoning for that, and then all the details for that. What I like is, if you click on any of the major points, whether it's fair launch or the token or liquidity notes, it gives you an LI5, as in explain like I'm 5 explanation, so you can simply see what this one is about. As in Cacao, that is the flagship token. They'll be minted at once and then distributed to the people participating in the liquidity auction. You require them to run a node, and they can be paired against other assets inside the pool to earn a percentage of the transaction fees generated by swaps, while the Maya coin is used to participate in their total revenue. That's exactly 1 million of that. They serve as the initial stages funding mechanism. So for Cacao, it's the bridge between blockchains, and Maya is the native staking token of the protocol, which gets a portion of the fees generated by the protocol. They have all the math behind that as well laid out when it comes to the technical overview of the system income is divided and how the yield works. But that is far too many details for an overview video. So for that, link down below of course for the white paper. But let's go back to what the protocol actually does. 2 steps: swap crypto, earn interest. Without having any bridges, which sometimes can take forever. I used to use the Harmony bridge, I think, a year and a half ago, and that took like 7 days to bridge something from Harmony over to ETH and back. Your money stays your money. Make it as simple as possible to navigate by having the pools designed in an efficient way, and also granting providers impermanent loss protection up to 100% after 100 days, 1% per day. You can enter and exit at any time by still having complete custody of your own money. So whether it's more like I wouldn't call it investment because that's always looked down upon on YouTube, but if you want to store your money in liquidity, to put it in fancy terms, that's the earn interest part on the right side. On the left side, just if you want to use their service. Couple reasons. Why should you use Maya? What's this one all about? I got 5 reasons for you. Cacao token, the liquidity notes, security notes, the Aztec chain, as well as stable pools. Let's say because you guys mentioned the liquidity notes a couple times, let's click on that, see what they tell us. They seek to attract liquidity without compromising security. Nodes can also bond LP units. Traditionally, you need to buy and stake a big amount of assets, but in their protocol, nodes buy and bond big amounts of cacao. However, those stakes can be represented inside their pools, paired with other native assets, and can thus facilitate liquidity for users and traders. And any capital bonded by Maya node operators can participate in the fees generated by the pools in which they are deposited, making it much more efficient, which is a way better approach. So in other words, you as an operator, if you want to be one, get not just your rewards as a liquidity provider, as well as your regular node rewards, but then also the fact that capital efficiency is no longer inversely proportional to security. Lots of complicated terms in here, but in simple words again, multiple benefits for the same amount of work. Now leading up to the fair launch, which is happening in 3.5 weeks from now when I record this on March 7th, we can provide liquidity and receive Cacao tokens. But why should you participate? Good question. The answer is pretty simple. If you like the idea of the project and you see how this one is going to be useful in the future, which a lot of people are most likely going to make use of, then you invest into a project at the beginning stages instead of at the end. You know, right now, Render token, for example, went up to a couple $2 billion market value, and that's great. We have AI stuff, coins regarding AI, they all go up. But wouldn't it be better if you had the option to get Render tokens at the beginning stages of the project? It would be. They're launching soon, and if you can see in the future, or at least let it play out how it might be, then you get more right now than later on when the price would go up. How does it work? 3 phases. You can contribute supported assets, let's say Rune from the Thought chain, Bitcoin, ETH, and so on and so forth. That way 90% of the Kakao tokens are distributed to the participants. And for example, if the Bitcoin pool is 40%, they also get 40% of the amount of Kakao allocated to it. And then you can earn interest on your stuff. Now I always looked at it this way. Let's say you have a phone, right? You have an iPhone. If you could stake the iPhone, which means you still have access to it, but this would pay you a certain percentage, then something, an asset you have anyways, would have another benefit to it. And if you have, let's say, Bitcoin anyways, might as well use it in a way, whether it's staking it on any other site or depositing that in liquidity pools, you at least get more for something that you own anyways. You can participate and interact in multiple different ways with the Thor wallet DEX, the Asgard DEX, or the Maya Node CLI. So if you haven't used Thor before, that will be the wallet that you're most likely going to use. Just click on Enter App, follow the steps. It's simple, like setting up MetaMask. They have a tier list for the liquidity auction withdrawals, which prevent rapid withdrawals right after the distribution and subsequent lockup period ends. Because what happens quite often when any token drops for, let's say, an initial offering, is that anybody who got it sells that immediately, and then the price goes down by like 80%. So depending on the tier that you choose, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, you can see 3 weeks, 9 weeks, or 27 weeks, you have a certain daily withdrawal limit. At the same time, there's no minimum entry, so whatever you have, if you want to participate, you can. And outside of this liquidity auction, there won't be any other issuances of the Kakao token, which means if you want to get the token in the future, you have to get it from somebody else that already owns that, which makes it more attractive for people to invest heavily during the liquidity auction, because you get something paid out proportionately, percentage-wise, for owning the token. It makes the most sense, and usually the earlier the better. Same principle here. So if you deposit, let's say $500, you will get $500 in the Kakao token. And if you want to get the Maya token, you can do it in 2 ways. You can either have the NFT, which they have over here called Maya Mask, which is something they have on this side as well. And if you hold Rune already, you're gonna get some Maya tokens freely. Plan to share 7% of the total Maya token supply to acknowledge the support for Tor chain, which you can use in order to participate. But then they also have an entire FAQ page for anything that you can think of. The liquidity auction, the holders, the swappers and traders. What is the swap? Flash forward a couple of years down the road, people will be using decentralized exchanges without knowing that Maya protocol is powering them behind the scenes. How are prices determined? How are the fees and payment rates set? How liquidity providers? Thought chats, developers. There's a lot that goes into it. We can see 90% for LPs and notes, 10% for the Maya fund, as well as how that is distributed, with the dev fund being 78%. Most importantly, as I mentioned on here, dumping Maya has no direct effect on the price of Kakao, which means Kakao will have very little sell pressure from its origin, which makes it a lot more relaxed. Because like right now, when you like buy into the market again, and you see like, oh no, a drop of like 2%, and then it goes back up by like 1.5%, you constantly look at your portfolio and it's like, is my money worth more? Did it go down now? And it can annoy you day after day, and that's not necessarily fun. So that approach makes a lot more sense. They're also audited by Bond Security. They have their own Spanish social media run as well. So I would just say, if you like the idea, and you can see how this one is going to impact all of crypto over the next couple of years, then maybe the fair launch in 3.5 weeks from now might be something for you. That being said, links to everything down below. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Again, not financial advice, just something that is gonna launch soon that might be interesting to you guys.